in the eagerly anticipated men's middleweight division. Our first finalist is Gard Sagen from Norway, who faced the Austrian Scherübel in the quarter-final.
So, middleweight quarter-finals. Sagen from Norway versus Scherübel from Austria. And it's Sagen, the aggressor, coming forward, looking to throw that heavy right hand. Scherübel, nice left leg reply here. Good low kick from Sagen. Looking to assert himself early, pushing forward, stalking. Probes with a jab, shrugs the shoulders. Oh, overhand bolo right from Scherübel. Didn't find the target. If it did, Sagen would have been in trouble. And Sagen looked for an uppercut and then the double leg. Wasn't quite successful with the double leg. And if the uppercut had landed cleanly, it could have been all over, but it was just a glancing blow. And they go against the cage wire here. And Scherübel doing a good job of keeping it upright. Sagen just looking to work the thigh of his opponent. He's got the single leg, doggedly hanging on to it. I don't think he's going to work for him at the moment. And as we've seen before, our referees have been quick to split the guys if there's been no work going. And they split naturally anyway. And Scherübel comes out with a stiff jab. Nice boxing technique. Sagen, though, stalking his man, taking the centre, trying to take the initiative away. There it lands this time. The bolo punch from Scherübel. Perfectly landed. I must say Sagen took it well because it came over the top, landed flush. And it didn't faze him at all, the Norwegian. But he's got to be careful because it's the second time that Scherübel threw it. Now this time the spin kick was poorly timed in contrast to the right hand, and it was too close. And Sagen caught it, and Scherübel was lucky to survive there. But Sagen just beginning to turn up the pressure now. Nice little uppercut, left hand there from him, pushing Scherübel back again. And this is something that'll catch the judge's eyes. It's Sagen, the man, consistently going forward. There's been some good defensive technique and counters, like that right hand from Scherübel, but a big slam from Sagen. And to be fair, the Austrian has given him these opportunities. When he's thrown his work, he's been open to the counter or the takedown, and that's what's happened for him now. And with under 30 seconds left in the round, that will score heavily in Sagan's favour here in the first. Tried to get the arm, didn't work for Scherübel, and allows more ground and pound from Sagen. And with the clock ticking, this is what the judges are going to see. So after a pretty even start, you've got to say that Sagen walked his man down, was the aggressor, and then got the big takedown. So for me, this first round will go to the Norwegian, despite some dangerous work from Scherübel, especially that overhand, what we call the bolo punch. But it's definitely the Norwegian's round for me. So round two. And once again, Sagen looking to take the centre, push his man back. Scherübel happy to wait for the counter, and that's the counter, that right hand. That's what he favours. That big right hand, low chopping right leg kick as well. High point kick, better from Scherübel. And then the double leg again, and Sagen puts the exclamation mark on it by the jump, slams his man down, impresses the judges again. Now Scherübel looking to tie his man up in his guard, keep him tight. So Sagen, for the second time in the fight, gets his man down. There's still 2 minutes left, so will he work him here? Pushing him towards the cage. And away they go again. So, almost halfway through, and I feel Sagen is in ascendancy once more, and the longer they stay here like this, this will suit him. Scherübel doing the right thing, because I think Scherübel's been quite dangerous upright. But good ground and pound attempt again from Sagen. So once more, Scherübel finds himself on his back and in defensive mode, which is good for the Norwegian. It helps him conserve his energy. He seemed to be in ascendancy. He seemed to be the man on top. But when you're looking at possibly getting to a semi-final and a final, you've got to think of these things. And I think Sagan's doing a good job here of staying within himself, but still doing enough to capture the judges' eyes. It doesn't necessarily mean it's often that pretty or exciting for the crowd to watch, but with two more potential fights, Sagan's doing the right thing here, nullifying the dangers of his opponent, which we've seen are his upright skills, and making sure he's got his man where he wants him. So as we did in the first round, with the clock counting down to 30 seconds, the judges are seeing Sagen of Norway in the guard of Scherübel doing his work. And that's the problem for Scherübel, because when he's upright, he's got that fast right hand. He was good with his legs as well, but he hasn't been allowed to stay there very long. And Sagen is grinding out a victory here over the first two of potential 3 rounds. So if he does get back, which looks very likely, to the corner, Scherübel will have to make sure they stay upright and look for a stoppage. That's his only way of going through. That's his only way of progressing from here, because Sagen has nullified him over 2 rounds so far. And he still looks fresh, which is daunting for Scherübel. And there we go. This is what I said. It's not pretty, but it is effective. Scherübel is good upright. Sagen knows it, but he also knows that there's not much coming back at him once he takes his Austrian opponent to the ground. And I think Sagen will be happy to keep it here, either working a bit of ground and pound, keeping his weight on his man, keeping him nullified, keeping him constantly thinking about the defensive. And at the end of 3 rounds, I think he will have got a comprehensive points victory, unless he does get a ground and pound or submission win, obviously. But if not, he'll have got a comprehensive points victory while still remaining quite comfortably within himself and saving more for the potential next rounds. It's frustrating for Scherübel, but it's the win that counts more than anything here, and I think that's what Sagan's going for. I think he's looking to grind out a good solid points win and keep himself safe from injury at the same time, because again, while they're doing this, there's no fear of being cut, there's no fear of bruising, there's no fear of him being hurt in any way. And we're almost at the halfway stage again, and he's in no trouble whatsoever. Scherübel needs to get out, needs to get upright, and he really needs to work without being taken down again. Personally, I just can't see it at the moment. And again, Sagen, all the tricks, the head just pushing into his opponent, making it uncomfortable from there. You see it again, pushing forward, making it uncomfortable, keeping himself safe, and running that clock down. And again, very cleverly doing just enough so that the referee isn't tempted to stand them up. He knows just when to put a little burst in of work so that the referee stays away. Frustrating times for Scherübel, possibly frustrating times for the crowd watching, but it will mean that Sagen will get through to the semi-final, and that's the only thing he's interested in at the moment. And he'll have done it very safely, very convincingly, and will be particularly fresh for his semi-final, unless Scherübel can pull something dramatic out now, which does seem unlikely from this position. Very frustrating times for the Austrian indeed, but good tactics from Sagen. He's done what's necessary to make sure he gets through. And again, stifling the work of Scherübel, just doing enough so there's no chance of the being stood up. And as we go into the last 10 seconds, he'll know he's got a very convincing 3-0 win across these 3 rounds. And then he'll be ready for the semi-final. Good ground and pound to finish, just to make sure of the point. Not the greatest of fights, but Sagen did what was necessary to get through to the semi-finals, and you can't blame him for that. And he's certainly happy.
The winner by electric decision, Sagen for Norway,